Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome everyone to Powering the Intelligent Enterprise with SAP on Azure. My name is Siddharth Sam. I'm a marketing manager with the Microsoft Business Unit with Tata Consultancy Services. Today, we have an amazing lineup of speakers to you, and we are going to define a few things that are going to surprise you and is something that is known at the same time. SAP defines an intelligent enterprise as one that applies advanced technologies, best practices with integrated and agile processes. This enables organizations to be more profitable, resilient, sustainable, while also transforming to be the best run business in class. Today, you will learn more about the collaboration that Microsoft and SAP will drive business for you with Dara. You'll understand the TCS value story with Saligram, and Simon would narrate how Co-op embarked on the process transformation with SAP on Azure and the impact the partnership with Microsoft and TCS had. Now, many of you will be new to the Hopin platform, so please feel free to use the chat function on the right to raise any questions you have during the session. We'll be picking up the queries and answering them during the Q&A segment towards the end. Let's not waste any more time and bring up the first speaker, Dara Ibrahim.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Siddharth Sam and TCS for allowing me to be with Simon from Co-op today. And together, how do we reimagine your transformation journey, just like other retailers have been facing, especially post this pandemic? My name is Dara Ibrahim, and I'm part of the Global Black Belts at Microsoft, looking to reimagine how we continuously add seamless experiences within our partnership with SAP, that we could together show you more value and faster time to achieve impact with your journey to the cloud. One of the best things about my role is that I spend a lot of time with companies like yourselves. What they are telling us and what we're seeing is that we're at an inflection point, unlike any other we're seeing in business. The challenges are real, but the opportunities are endless. As a retailer or in any other industry, today you seek change, digital change, using technology to reimagine how you can understand your customers, empower your employees, optimize your supply chain and operations, and create a new world of innovative products and services. The challenge of moving your most mission-critical applications and data to the cloud can seem daunting. Customers told us they heard different advice from SAP, from Microsoft, and service partners such as TCS. Fortunately, in our 30 years of partnership with SAP, we have been together in a journey of evolving our integration and co-innovation as we both are committed to accelerating innovation for our mutual customers and have enhanced our partnership, our strategic relationship as customers and support. And how do we support that common goal? Did you know we have 120,000 Microsoft internal users accessing SAP on Azure and 38 internal SAP business landscapes that actually run on Azure? One reason customers choose to run SAP solutions on Azure is the ability to integrate this environment with other solutions across the Microsoft ecosystem of products. We invested heavily in making sure that Azure is the best platform to run SAP on in terms of performance, reliability, and security. But when you look at the full breadth of the Microsoft Cloud, from Azure to Teams, Power Platform, and LinkedIn, you can imagine the power of bringing these together. When organizations choose to run their SAP solutions on Azure, they gain faster and easier access to integration with the full ecosystem of Microsoft products, which speeds adoption of cloud technology and time to innovation. These examples are integrations with Azure Active Directory for core security and identity capabilities, integration with Teams and Outlook for user productivity, or integration with Power BI for data visualization, just to name a few. At Microsoft, our ambition is to empower the retail industry and other industries to seamlessly connect your customers, your people, and your data. Unify and enrich data across the shopper journey to discover better customer insights that enable more personalized shopping experiences. Enable associate impact by connecting your workforce, digitizing processes, and accelerating onboarding in a safe and secure environment. Create an agile and resilient and responsive supply chain by connecting data across your ecosystems to enhance visibility, speed to customer, and time to value. Transform your operating model response in real time to customers' evolving needs using data and new technology to engage shoppers and create new revenue streams. Realize the value, the true value of your data at scale by bringing together disparate data sources, adding intelligence that enriches and connects core business processes in a secure environment. Most customers we work with today are targeting the move of their complete SAP estate to Azure, from dev test to production, including disaster recovery, archiving, and data analytics. These benefits would include increased insights and innovation, gain access to advanced data analytics tool in the cloud for immediate business insights, use 100 plus Azure services and SAP Business Technology Platform to integrate with SAP business processes and develop new customer and employee services. Rapid SAP deployment. Automation is key for consistent, error-free deployment, down from days to hours. Security, top of mind. Microsoft invests $1 billion per year with over 3,500 cybersecurity experts and more compliance certifications than anyone in the market. And of course, cost. Right-size your VMs for the actual workloads, not like on-prem where you would buy hardware to last you 3 years or so. Right-size and grow as and when you require. Also, you could leverage commercial incentives such as Azure Arc, reserved instances that actually helps you save around 70, if not more, % cost of your VMs. You could consider snoozing VMs, which do not need 24/7. Example, Sandbox to run 200 hours per month instead of 730 hours. And also increased availability. Obviously, it's around the SLA. Azure SLA is 4 nines. Let's look at some of the detail of where synergies exist. Customers use Azure and the Power Platform to natively integrate SAP and other applications, leveraging standardized data exchange formats, connectors, workflow tools, and API management capabilities, enabling endless opportunities. SAP data can be surfaced via Office and Teams, enabling users to read it in a tool that they are comfortable with and directly interact with the SAP system through a diverse set of front ends on any device. SAP and non-SAP data can be consolidated with Azure Data Services, getting a broader range of insights from more diverse data sets. Edge data can be ingested using IoT Hub. And finally, running your SAP systems on Azure allow you to leverage security-relevant components from identity management to Azure Active Directory to advanced threat protection monitoring with Azure Sentinel. The Power Platform makes it easy to extend SAP with additional functionality using a low-code approach. There is no steep learning curve. If you could use Excel, you could use Power Platform. SAP departments are often flooded with requests for simple apps to help streamline business processes and are struggling to keep up with demand alongside the day-to-day responsibility of maintaining these SAP environments. By exposing SAP connectivity to the Power Platform, organizations can enable citizen developers to build the apps they need, automate processes, and build their own dashboards, leveraging enterprise-grade access, which IT can control. Azure policies can add a layer of control to prevent unauthorized access to specific content. Since the Power Platform can connect to virtually any system and any data source, it becomes easy to incorporate non-SAP data in these apps and processes. And you can combine Azure services, for example, using cognitive services to scan an invoice into a process using the phone, or connect machine learning to incorporate predictions and guidance to users. Thank you, Sam, Saligram, and the TCS team for hosting me today. I am so happy to be here with Simon Fullalove, whom is the IT Delivery Director for the retail business at Co-op, based in the UK. Simon led Co-op's one of the largest transformation programs across Co-op and has 30 plus years of experience of implementing SAP on-prem and in the cloud. Simon, thank you for the partnership and for sharing your recent Microsoft Azure and SAP experience. I hand over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you, Dara, for that introduction, and it's my pleasure to be part of this session on TCS, Microsoft, SAP, and Azure. At the Co-op, we had a business challenge where we were becoming increasingly constrained in our ability to deliver our business strategy and deliver on our ambitions, which were significant and far-reaching in the convenience food market. We had a range of challenges, which include some of the following. Our ability to improve availability in store. Customers like to shop in stores with a wide range of products that are available 24/7 when they want to shop. The market, as we know, is ever changing. More recently, faster and more innovative ways of bringing our products to our customers. We needed a decentralized view of range, and what that means is locally, customers more and more expect to see local product. That's a real challenge when you have up to 5,000 stores that you are distributing product to every day. And we needed to replace manual and old processes with automation and real-time data analytics, and ultimately replace multiple legacy systems so that our overall integration end-to-end process would lead us to better availability, reduced waste in everybody's interest, including the planet, and a better collaboration throughout the supply chain. And that collaboration goes all the way from the supplier through to the warehouse to the central office, and making that team have the ability to really respond to the market conditions, which in convenience retailing can change daily, let alone weekly and monthly. So our solution was a greenfield SAP implementation on the Azure cloud. We implemented SAP's retail solution with some significant add-ons to give a real groundbreaking solution. On that journey, we used Microsoft technology and Microsoft engineering alongside TCS engineering and technology to design a real forward-thinking and never before seen platform for the convenience food industry. Along the journey, we covered a couple of groundbreaking pieces of work, one being the migration of the HLIs over to full Azure Virtual, a very technical and as yet had not been completed before, and also the use of SAP retail in the convenience sector. And then finally, and one of the more interesting pieces on the project was our performance and volume testing, which really unlocked the power of Azure platform and the ability to take a VM and have it either scale it sideways or scale it upwards as the needs of the testing objectives needed to be met. For those of you who are used to working on-prem, that's a 3 to 6 month turnaround. When you're working in the Azure space, it's a 2 to 3 day turnaround. Those kinds of ways of working mean that a program of this size significantly improved its ability to succeed and deliver on time. I wouldn't be here talking to you unless we had had a partnership that was really world class. Across TCS and Microsoft, their engineering teams helped deliver in the early stages a technical design that is now 4 years old, that is still relevant today and is still relevant for the co-op's future. Without that collaboration and that end-to-end thinking, the program's foundations wouldn't have been anywhere near as secure as they turned out to be. We also use Azure's data factory to pull cross-organizational data into an Azure data lake. We have 20 billion rows of data, unbelievable numbers of files and data sources that now bring together co-ops propositions in insurance and membership, and allows us to mine that for, as up to now, unseen customer propositions. So what did we get for our investment in time, effort, and energy? So we now have a far more accurate forecast. So we are now able to forecast into the future using data from the past that now all sits in Azure. That means that we can significantly improve our availability. If we improve availability, we improve sales. If we improve sales, we can generally drive down waste, and that improves the customer experience. When you have improved forecasting and reduced waste, you're then able to really tackle inventory across the supply chain. And then reduction in inventory in store is beneficial to the colleagues because it frees up working space, and a reduction in inventory in the depot allows for more efficient use of what is expensive space. Ultimately, that's a reduction in working capital that can then be applied to other plans and other strategies at the co-op, significantly improving our ability and reach in the market. When you look at our logistics and supply chain, we have not only been able to reduce inventory, we have also been able to improve efficiency. We have a much more integrated solution, it's more robust, and it's more timely and more reliable. That improves the ability for suppliers to accurately supply what we need when we need it more real time. That means for them, they can reduce their cost to the co-op, and we therefore have a win-win situation in supply chain. And then finally, when you bring all of that together, we're able to exit legacy applications that are now end of life. Ultimately, that allows us to exit data centers that are on-prem and move more and more of the co-op footprint into the cloud. So ultimately, what can you say in conclusion? That the Microsoft and SAP and TCS collaboration was definitely better together, and it was a pleasure being part of that program and delivering such a fantastic outcome for the co-op. So I'm now going to hand over to Saligram, who it's my pleasure to introduce. He's the global head for SAP on Azure and has got more than 25 years of experience in SAP and the Azure domain. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon, for such a wonderful session, and thanks, Dara, for giving the perspective of the Microsoft and SAP relationship and the future that is coming along with Azure. So this session, I'm going to focus more on how TCS is helping the customers in their transformation journey, and where is the market going, what is the market saying, what are the analysts saying. I'm going to focus more on that. So first, let us see what the analysts are saying. If you see that the Gartners of the world and the Forresters of the world, they are doing their own analysis, and they are talking to customers and the product owners and SIs. And what we are seeing in the market is most of the customers now intend to move away from the traditional data centers. The basic reason is the confidence level on the public cloud at this point of time is very high. The investments that are coming in the security and the Azure Data Directory, Active Directory, and other places, creating a lot of confidence. But at the same time, they also want to make sure that their TCO is getting reduced, their go-to-market, they are very agile for the go-to-market. All these things are contributing to their decision making, and we see at least 70% of the customers making decisions in next 3 to 4 years around 2025 to move on to cloud and adopt S4 HANA as a digital core for their transformation. And this actually has picked up quite a lot in this COVID times. And then there is a lot of pressure for all the corporates to reduce their cost. And we see a lot of inquiries coming in the market, a lot of assessments happening, and some coaching that we are doing and everyone is doing to the customers to make their own decisions. Now, when we are doing this, what is happening is that how how is it positioned? How is Microsoft positioned or Azure positioning for SAP workloads? So if you see that today at this point of time, around 50% of market is in favor of Microsoft Azure for SAP workload, and balance market share is also available with Google and AWS and other service providers. So everyone has got their own pie, but Azure is leading the race, and that's because of less storage cost, the cost of savings, the availability of SLAs and Azure across the globe, the regions, the zones, all this is contributing. But in my future slides, I will tell you that it's not about just getting SAP S4 on cloud, but it is more about once I get there, after that, what? And I'll touch upon it in my future slides, where SAP on Azure is just a stepping stone for the starting of the cloud journey, because SAP is a core ERP product and system of records which maintains all the business transactions. So what are the horizons? Does the journey end with just putting SAP on cloud? The answer is no. That is a stepping stone, and the business heads are looking at business case for moving on to a cloud journey. Initially, TCO can be a driving factor, S4 HANA can be a driving factor, but beyond that, they are looking at digital transformation. How is it going to help them to gain more customer in the market? How is it going to help them in an agile way to move to the market and bring in more products? So these are all some of the problem statements which they have in their legacy systems, and they would like to solve that with the cloud infrastructure, with the IoT platform, with the AI and ML platform, H2 cloud, analytics. They are looking at all these solutions. So TCS, with their contextual knowledge and domain expertise that they have gathered over a period of last 15, 20 years working in ERP and with Microsoft and other product owners, we have developed key solutions, and I'm just naming a few. For supply chain, there is a solution that we have put in place with DG Fleet with Azure as a backbone, digital manufacturing platforms. We have got IP2 intelligent power platforms for operations to optimize the power plant operations. Then we have got the retail cognitive solutions, which is helping in the supply chain. So all these solutions are being built with the Azure cloud platform, but the backbone ERP is SAP, and which is hosted on Azure cloud. So that's how the customers are looking, the business heads are looking at. Business heads want this kind of transformation to come beyond SAP for their business, so that they have a better customer experience, a better end user experience, agile supply chain, law, and reduce the inventory, get the stock in time, get the stock in out. So all these things are playing a very important role. And to do this kind of transformation, it's very important that you have the right cloud platform to do this kind of transformation. Now, how is TCS helping this in all these things? So TCS has been a long-standing partner for SAP and Microsoft. In SAP, for the S4HANA world, TCS has built industry pre-configured solutions and accelerators. They have got the best-in-class solutions with their domain and contextual knowledge. Ready-made solutions, they have got the packaged offerings, they have got demos and recordings of business scenarios, document repositories for configurations, industry-best templates. All these have been brought together with their experience, and that spans across various industries. I will touch upon it in my next slide, but before I go there, I would also like to touch upon that TCS has built a lot of other accelerators for testing and data migration, which are very key for a complex rollout or a complex business transformation engagement like SAP S4 HANA. So TCS has built Fast Forward, DataSure, Ace Plus, Quick Config. These are the tools which are helping the customers and the delivery team to save at least 30 to 50% of their effort and bringing in large automation. Now, going to the next slide, what I would like to touch upon here is that TCS Crystallis solution, which has been built over a period of time with the best of the industry best practices. Uh, Industry solutions have been built across manufacturing, retail, railways, utilities, semiconductors, pharma, telecom. So we have built it across the solutions. Some products are still in the making, but some are already available. So this industry business solutions is helping kickstart the business transformation workshops and the business transformation journey. But does it end there? No. We are also helping with the Crystallis for decision enabling solutions like smart boardroom, CFO insights, and other insights in preventive maintenance. But at the same time, on the periphery, TCS is building solutions for predictive maintenance of railway assets, last mile tracking of inventory for pharma industry. All these solutions are built, and for that, the core cloud uh, capabilities are being utilized for IoT and AI and ML solutions. Now, what happens to the integration between the other third-party products or the SaaS products like SuccessFactors, Ariba, Workday, Salesforce? All these integrations are also being put in place. So you get a holistic solution where your core ERP is with Crystallis solution. You have got the IoT solutions surrounding that for your supply chain and for preventive maintenance and for CFO insights. And now you have got an integration with the third-party solutions or the other SaaS products like Ariba, SuccessFactors, and Workday, etc. Are we working with other cloud service providers? Yes, we work with all cloud service providers. And some of you might be having questions. How do you work with RISE? Yes, we have got a strong collaboration with SAP. We do work with RISE, and there are different models of working, and it is on a case-to-case basis. Now, if you implemented a Crystallis solution and a SAP solution, you need an infrastructure to do that. Where does the infrastructure come? The infrastructure comes on the cloud. Now, how is TCS helping the cloud modernization from the public cloud perspective? So TCS has got different offerings, which includes the decision services, the foundation services, the cloud migration factory, the modernization services, and the cloud operations. Having said that, TCS initially starts normally when we engage with the customer, we are using our decision services of Cloud Council to help customer make an informed decision on what kind of roadmap they need to take, what kind of cloud they need to adopt, how much of they should go for a hybrid cloud, how much they should go for a private cloud. Does it make sense to be on-prem for some of the things? So TCS helps them in looking at their maturity level to migrate to cloud. But once they have decided to migrate to cloud, they need a foundation services. That is where the landing zone and other things TCS is helping. And then at the end of the day, TCS helps with cloud exponents for the day-to-day operations and management and optimization of cost and cloud brokerage and decommissioning of systems. This is where TCS will come into play And all these offerings is helping our customers to make an appropriate cloud journey and help them in the overall transformation of their business and get more customers, more revenue top line to the end customers. And thanks very much for everyone for joining this session. We would be more than happy to answer your queries. And I'm just looking at the chat window. There are a lot of questions coming in, and we look forward to answering all these questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Saligram. And indeed, there are questions come up in the queue. Isn't it amazing to hear what we can do next? You can have a quick peek of these solutions that Saligram mentioned in the expose segment of the Hopin platform. I highly recommend that you visit it once we are done with our panel and Q&A aspect. A quick reminder for those who are new to the Hopin platform, there is a Q&A tab on your right that you can use to raise questions. And if you have not found it yet, please do check it out and do raise your questions. All right, let's jump into this and pick the brains of our panel that we have today. All right, here are some very interesting questions. Simon, let's come to you first. There are a number of challenges that happen during an implementation of SAP with Azure. And the audience is very interested to know a couple of them that was really tough and how you were able to mitigate it.
Hello, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Q&A section. There are a couple of significant challenges on our Azure journey. The first was actually the preparation work that needs to be done in your organization before you take on the cloud journey. So there are a significant number of policies, procedures, working instructions, in fact, ways of working, organizational demands that need to be fully worked through. You need to have an end state vision for your Azure platform and ways of working. It took us 9 to 12 months before we were actually Azure ready and in a position to start hosting our SAP environments in the cloud. That work done well sets the foundation for your program of work and is absolutely essential that you are listening to your partners, TCS, Microsoft, SAP, so that your foundations are absolutely solid. So that's the first challenge, is getting that work done and getting the organization mindset in the right place. For us, we then had a specific challenge at the time we joined into the cloud, which was 5 years ago. It wasn't possible to have a fully virtual HANA large instance in the cloud. So we had to have a hybrid model for the first 3 years, where we had our larger HANA large instances for our SAP databases were actually on the ground, bare metal, not virtualized. And we had the rest of our SAP databases and applications fully virtualized. We then completed a very tricky and technical cutover after about 3 years as that large instance became available. I think now we're in the realms of 11 terabytes of large instance virtual available. So you need the chances of you being stuck on bare metal now are pretty remote. But those are the two significant challenges. Once we'd navigated those, it was pretty plain sailing. It's the only SAP program that I've worked on where infrastructure was nothing than either green or amber. And that, for many of you will know, that's quite a feat, quite an achievement, and credit to both Microsoft and TCS. Thanks.
Amazing. And okay, so then here's another interesting question comes up, maybe that we should direct towards Dara. So there's always a question of how secure cloud is, and especially with SAP on Azure, and considering all the recent security incidents that's been happening in the IT world, how will we be able to handle this for various industries?
Security is definitely top of mind for everyone. We invest over $1 billion a year, and we have over 3,500 cybersecurity experts. And of course, more compliance certification than anyone in the market. Actually, I'd like to invite everyone to attend our data center tours. We host these every first Tuesday of the month. And actually, we have an SAP segment on the back of the data center tour that specifically talks about this. And myself and from SAP, Axel Vetter is going to join me, whom is head of S4HANA Core Customer Advisory. I want to make sure that I get his title correctly. Axel and I go through every month, first Tuesday of every month, where we talk specifically about looking at how we manage security in the cloud. And you'll find the details of this recurring event on my LinkedIn page.
Okay. And if I were to just add on top of that, Dara, like security is another thing. Another very important aspect is on the analytics side. So maybe you could shed some more light on how Azure Analytics and Power BI is being leveraged. It's a very growing trend. Yeah.
Great question. As you all know, we saw about 2 years of digital transformation happen in just 2 months at the beginning of this pandemic. At the center of digital transformation are data and analytics. We also realized that it starts with your SAP data, so your business critical data. But as you know, so much of the data you need is not in SAP. It's customer point of sale data, it's government data, it's social sentiment data. So together with SAP, we have connectors to HANA or BW to ensure we support your journey to a faster time to realize your cloud impact. Today, our job, SAP and Microsoft together, is to show how bringing your SAP workloads to Azure unlocks opportunities for your business. Benefit from Microsoft's 30 plus years in this space, evolving our database and data warehouse solutions to focus on this business challenge specifically. And as a result, you can now use your SAP data faster and smarter. Combine your SAP data with other non-SAP data efficiently and protect it if needed, using the same role-based protection that you do in SAP.
Awesome. All right. Here's another question that I think that we definitely need to address when we talk about retail, and it's the improvements that we have had to supply chain. And maybe let's perhaps start with Simon, and you could let us know more on the thoughts on that.
Sure, no problem. As I said in my earlier message, we set out to reduce inventory in the overall supply chain, freeing up working capital to the benefit of the co-op. We have succeeded in that. We were largely on track, and then we had the pandemic. So when the pandemic came along, our supply chain colleagues using SAP were able to push more inventory back out to stores to deal with the unprecedented retail conditions in the market. So we are in the process of realizing that inventory ambition. I think talking to my supply chain colleagues most recently, that one of the next stage in our benefit and from a supply chain perspective is the fact that the SAP platform is shining a light on our practices and making sure and making it obvious which ones are suboptimal. So we have, through the process of rolling out the implementation across our estate, we are finding and clearing up and sorting out old practices, old ways of working, and moving to a more and more efficient supply chain operation. And we're quite clear that the platform that we are now on has enabled us to safely navigate the pandemic over the last 2 years. So a resounding success for supply chain.
All right. Okay, I have, so far all the questions have been anonymous, but we have one. So we have Cohen Devas, who is asking on, when embarking on the Azure journey, did co-op also take into account the new way of working and change in the organization it could have, from DevOps, automation, FinOps, product ownership? Is there a view on that, Simon?
Yeah, as I said, one of the challenges before we actually started the real implementation of SAP up on Azure was the pre-work that's needed. It is a change in the way of working, and we had to decide which of that agenda, DevOps, automation, FinOps, product owners, we were ready to adopt. I would say we made some progress on automation and product owners. I think DevOps and FinOps, they are things that we have in the next iteration of our organizational design. Once we've cleared out the legacy applications that we need to retire, we have applications that just will not stand the more modern ways of working. So in summary, to answer your question, we did partially embark on some of those new ways of working, but we had to moderate it based on the overall context of what we were doing.
All right. I think you've already touched upon this a little bit earlier, Simon, again, directed towards you, regarding the hybrid SAP landscape. The question is primarily about, did you experience latency performance issues due to systems not being hosted in the same data center? And I think we could go across with everyone asking the same. Yeah.
So SAP is very specific in terms it has a latency, a minimum or a maximum latency that it will tolerate. We put all of our SAP estate in the cloud. The only piece that wasn't in the cloud was the ECC large instance that was sitting on the HLI in a data center next to the Azure data centers. We were right at the threshold of latency in that model for a period of time. As soon as we moved off the HLIs back into virtual, because the large instances became available, we were then far within the latency tolerances needed by SAP. We then have a integration wrapper, and at that point the latency was less of an issue. It was then all about integration design.
So Dara, maybe we can talk more about how we manage hybrid from Microsoft, and then perhaps we can go to Saligram also and ask.
It's absolutely an issue that a lot of our customers, or actually many customers, face, because it's a growing sprawl of resources spread across multiple data centers, clouds, edge locations. So at Microsoft, we understand the reality our customers are facing. Microsoft Azure has been designed from the beginning to help customers meet these challenges. We have an Azure service called Azure Arc, ARC. Azure Arc. It's a single view that helps you build, operate, and manage all your resources, from on-prem to cloud to distributed edge applications in a consistent way across your IT estate. So check out Azure Arc.
Saligram, what about from TCS? Some solutions that we can talk to manage the challenges that hybrid brings out.
Yeah. So as I referred in my slides, the TCS has also built hybrid management cloud solutions like Exponents, and that manages hybrid cloud environment across private and public cloud, and it helps in FinOps and other parameters, and archivals and retirement of systems, and day-to-day business as usual. So with Azure Arc now, we are looking at how we incorporate that solution into and integrate with that. So that is something that we are working on, and Azure Arc is a fantastic product, and which we are working with the engineering team to make it more collaborative between TCS products and Microsoft products.
Another question that's been coming up is, what's your view on SAP with RISE? I mean, how do you collaborate and take it forward?
So SAP RISE is a new offering that has come in the market in the month of Jan. So both Microsoft and TCS are RISE partners. We work very closely with the SAP and the customer, and Microsoft all are collaborative. And depending on the customer's maturity and where they are in the cloud journey, with all the pros and cons, customer makes an appropriate choice whether he would like to go with RISE or whether he would like to go with a hybrid cloud scenario, whether you want to go with, or whether you want to stay on-prem, some of the things on RISE, some of the things on non-RISE. So it's a decision-making process which a lot of customers are making, and TCS, Microsoft, and SAP helps the customer in making an appropriate decision, depending on commercial value, depending on return on investments, depending on where they are on the maturity journey of their cloud movement, and also long term how they look at it as a scenario. So that's how we are working, and RISE is one of the important offerings that we work with. While there
Fantastic.
are
I think
a lot of customers who would like to remain independent and just be on an Azure cloud or an AWS or in Google and SAP separate, but it is a decision that the customer has to make, and we work with the customer for that.
that's perfect. That's perfect. I think, Dara, would you have also a point to add on RISE?
So absolutely, we launched Satya Nadella with Christian Klein on the 27th of January when they launched RISE. Satya was with Christian Klein on stage, launching the deep integration that we have with SAP. SAP made a large investment on Azure, and we work hand in hand. We support customer choice on seeing what is best for our customers today, as Saligram just alluded to.
All right. I think all the attendees here will also be very interested in understanding, various industry focus areas that Microsoft has, right, with digital transformation, say with manufacturing, retail, CPG, life sciences. If you could maybe touch upon a few of them, that would be great.
Well, every industry around the world the past year has seen organizations just adjust to the challenges, pursue new business opportunities. Simon had alluded into the challenges that they faced during the beginning of the pandemic, and obviously accelerate their digital capabilities in the face to handle the pandemic that had reshaped our world, else we would be together in person. At the heart of the Microsoft Cloud offerings is three things. It's people, so empowering everyone to flexibly work, learn, and collaborate from anywhere. Create impact faster, so helping our customers achieve faster time to value, and trust. So a secure cloud that gives you confidence. We've also created vertical industry clouds to that point, to serve industry-specific scenarios, bringing together the breadth of the Microsoft Cloud offering with new capabilities, customizations and standards unique to each industry. They're designed to be modular and extensible, so organization can start with what they need today and adapt as they grow. So tailored versions of the Microsoft Cloud are available for healthcare, financial services, retail, manufacturing, and nonprofit. But not only that, we also recently announced the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability, which organizations in any industry can use to measure, report on, and reduce their environmental impact through actionable insights.
No, we often always tie SAP and Azure with more of an infrastructure kind of query, but when we look at productivity overall, how can we look at some of these aspects that can be kind of interesting, like say the integration of say Teams Outlook with SAP or say with non-SAP systems. That would be kind of interesting to know and take across the board on this question. Yeah.
Is this a question to Microsoft?
It is a question to you. Yeah.
We all love Teams, spoken on a pop-in platform, but Teams can be integrated through connectors from Power Platform, Logic apps, or with our SDKs. Actually, SAP uses our SDK to implement apps like Sales Cloud app for Teams, for instance, which you actually can find today in the Teams App Store. Together with SAP, we have a roadmap for building these integrations ready out of the box for everyone. So could be found in your Teams App Store. However, the beauty about these is that each customer wants to build their own scenario, and the platform the platform gives you the flexibility to do this, either alone or with our help, or of course with the help of a partner such as TCS.
Saligram, maybe we can add on top of that how perhaps on the TCS side solutions have been layering in on the productivity side.
Yeah, so TCS is also building a lot of solutions integrated with Teams. So TCS has built some solutions like integrating with workflow for SAP and Teams, with SuccessFactor and Teams, and also with ServiceNow for ticket resolution and other things. So TCS has built products or POCs or user stories which can help the end user do his day-to-day job with maximum productivity.
Perfect. All right, then let's move on to the closing views, and let's perhaps start with Simon and get your viewpoints and closing remarks.
Yep, thank you very much. It was a pleasure being part of this event today. I think it's interesting just how far the market, the offerings available in the market, and how far customers have been able to travel on a journey using Azure, SAP, Microsoft, TCS, and I can't wait to see what the next 5 years look like. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Dara?
So before we go, and one last point from my side, because Azure integrates with the Microsoft apps your business users already know, sharing insights is easier and faster. Plus, you can manage access using Azure Active Directory, the same solution you use for SAP on Azure. Active Directory and all these Microsoft apps run on Azure data centers, which means better performance and less latency. Thank you, Simon, for the great insights, and I'm sure we will continue to hear great impact from Co-op as you redefine the true impact of going on a digital journey. And thank you, TCS. I look forward to working closely on many more stories.
Thank you, Dara.
Thanks, Dara. Thanks, Simon. So my view is that SAP is going to happen. It will come in next 4 or 5 years. There will be a lot of focus on getting SAP S4 onto Azure, but the focus will be more on how do I get my business solutions, specifically in manufacturing or retail supply chain or life sciences, so production, quality. So we see a lot of digital transformation coming in this space of life science, manufacturing, retail, travel industry, high-tech industry. So we are more focused on how do we help customers with our knowledge to build such kind of solutions. I think that is the way to go, and cloud is here to stay.
Perfect, Saligram. There's a lot of such interesting and amazing stories that we have. I highly again recommend that you check out the expo segment for a peek view into all these solution services. If you have any further questions, please drop a note at mbu.marketing@tcs.com. Visit us at our website, and we'll definitely connect again shortly. Have a great day. Have a great week ahead. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.